and when did you have the test that was positive?
Let me clarify on the ringworm story. I've been dealing with skin infection on the last of the course of the years. During that period of time that I got tested, I got this medication that it was not from my medical staff back over here in the Padres. And then soon later, I tested positive, and then it was more like it. But at the end of the day, there's no excuses. There's no excuses. I need to do a way better job on what is going inside my body, and there's no excuse in these actions.
When did you test positive? Was that spring training or during the season or what month?
Late July.
What do you want to say to the fans, some of who are still here wearing your jersey and others who maybe have kids that aren't sure they can look up to you anymore? What do you want to say to those guys out there?
That I understand. I understand how they feel. I was a fan. I grew up watching this game. If my favorite player would have done something like I've done, I would have felt the same way. I would have felt, disappointed. I would have felt let down. And I truly understand how they feel. But one thing is that I'm gonna make for sure is like when I come back, I gain their trust again, and I regain that pure love that they gave me all the way from the beginning.
Fernando, when did you start taking this substance?
Which substance?
The one that you tested positive.
During the time, June.
June?
Yeah.
Where did you get it? Was it an over-the-counter in the Dominican or?
Back home.
Back home?
Back home.
Through a ball phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it say the cholesterol? Did it say that on the label?
I'm not sure about that.
With all the resources you have, why didn't you reach out to someone on the Padres to make sure this is something you could take?
It was a stupid mistake. It was me being reckless. It was me not going to the people I know that can help me. And I'm regretting all of that. But at the end of the day, like I mentioned, there's no excuses, and there's no other one to blame other than me.
How receptive were your teammates when you spoke to them, and how do you expect to move forward with them going forward?
They were disappointed. Everybody's disappointed. I'm disappointed on myself. But I feel like we have a strong talk. We share stuff that is tough love. But, I feel like we put everything on the table that it needed to be out there. And it's going to start slowly, one step at a time, to regain their trust again.
Fernando, a lot of fans don't believe you. They don't believe that this was a mistake, that it was something more malicious, especially what we've seen with people saying things before and testing positive. What would you say to those fans who don't believe your story?
That I'm going to give them a story to believe in me again.
So again, this was for a skin thing rather than trying to get the wrist to...
The cream that I wear, yeah.
It was for
Fernando,
rash rather than the wrist.
¿qué tan importante es para ti hoy regresar y acercarte con la organización, con tus compañeros y con todos los directivos?
Es un paso muy grande, es un paso muy importante, ya que estos días han sido terribles, han sido días que ni siquiera he podido dormir, pensando en cómo darle la cara a mi compañero, pensando en cómo darle la cara a cada uno de ustedes, a cada uno de mis fanáticos allá afuera. Y de verdad que ha sido el momento más difícil de mi vida, el momento más difícil, como todo se ha afectado por culpa mía. Pero simplemente aquí estamos dando la cara de lo que hemos hecho y tratando de dar unos mejores pasos mirando hacia el futuro.
So real quick for our English media, I'm going to go ahead and translate the question, which was how big of a step is this for you to be down here and face the organization, your teammates, to which Fernando answered, this is a big step. This is, the most terrible time of my life. I've had trouble sleeping. So for me to come down here and show face, this was an important step for me, to meet with the organization, to meet with my teammates, to move forward.
Fernando, how long before the test did you stop taking the cream, or were you still taking it?
At the time I was taking the cream.
Was the test here, or on the road, or did they have you go somewhere at your doctor's?
I think it was on the road.
When did you know you tested positive? Because you appealed it, right? So how long have you known that you tested positive?
Since late July.
Okay.
Why did you drop your appeal?
It was not just myself. There was a team out there giving me advice. In the beginning, we felt like we have a very strong case moving forward. I really don't know how the appeal process works. Obviously, I got people advising me, and then the date was coming short, and they advised me that there was no likely that we were going to be able to win, and so we decided to start serving the suspension right away.
When you said team, you're talking about your agency, right?
There was a team out there, but at the end of the day, everything is on me. Everything is on me. It was my choices, and at the end of the day, it's my career.
What is logistically the next step for you from here? What do you do with the rest of this season to kind of stay ready, and where do you go from here logistically?
I feel like we have health-wise compromises. Now we're gonna check boxes. Moving forward, looks like I'm gonna have surgery on my shoulder, and I feel like I'm gonna be spending a good time here in San Diego during the off season, where I'm gonna spend most of the time, and I feel like we have a really good plan moving forward.
What made you decide to what changed your mind on the shoulder surgery?
I was feeling a little bit coming back. I wasn't my best version out there. In a couple games I got in AA. I was thinking and not diving head first, not doing this stereotype movement. And I feel like when I come back and start everything all over, I need to be 100% so I can do what I know what to do.
And what was the main message that you wanted to say in the clubhouse? And coming off of that, what was your sense for how you would be welcomed back by your teammates?
Just let them know how truly sorry I am. That I've seen the mistake that I've caused. I've seen all the distraction that I've caused to my teammate. Not being there since day one, it all has tracked back together. It has snowball on me. And I just let them know and show my face, telling them that it was gonna change, and that I'm gonna take better steps moving forward, and I was gonna make sure that all of this never happens again.
Por la mayor parte, ¿cuál ha sido la respuesta de tus compañeros, lo que te han ellos compartido a ti respecto a lo que tú les has dicho?
Fíjate, mucho no, todos me han apoyado, todos saben, al final del día somos humanos, cometemos errores, cada quien a su grado, cada quien a su nivel. Lo que ellos querían era la verdad y que le diera la cara, y simplemente ahora trabajar como un conjunto, ¿sabes? Yo mismo le dije ayúdenme, no me dejen solo, y yo pienso que cada uno de ellos tiene a mi espalda ahora mismo.
So the question was, what was the response from your teammates? To which Fernando replied, a lot of support. These guys got my back, and I wanted to make sure that I came down here and showed my face, and be honest with them, and ask them for help. Ask them that they look after me, keep me in line. But it was a lot of support, and a lot of love, tough love.
Fernando, you mentioned multiple mistakes at the beginning of the year. How would you have handled the motorcycle situation differently now?
In the first case, I wouldn't have gotten the motorcycle. I feel that's just the truth about it. And At the end of the day, you do regrets of all of this. You see all the damage that you have caused. I've seen how many people I've dragged with my mistakes, and now I'm willing to change all of that and just not drag them down again to that same road.
Fernando, you had a massive guaranteed contract and missed a lot of games on the field. You're going to miss games all the way into next season. What are your thoughts about that piece of it, the amount of enormous investment the franchise put in you, but you really struggled to stay on the field?
I have struggled this year. I had made mistakes, and I'm learning from it. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to make them change. I feel like we have a long way to go, but still that's not an excuse. So I'm going to make sure we go from now on, it's going to be a total different story.
You and the organization both made a big deal about calling this a statue contract. Is the statue, in your mind right now, sitting here, is that still potentially in your future, or does that seem unattainable at this point?
Still my future. Still think that I can regain everybody's trust and love down the road. It's not going to take a couple days. It's going to be a very long time. I'm looking forward to that challenge. At the end of the day, I'm still 23. That's not another excuse, but I'm saying I got a long time in front of me.
And a couple of your teammates had some pretty pointed comments the day it was announced that you were suspended. What were your thoughts when you heard those comments from a couple of those guys?
I truly understand. There was a lot of emotion going on. It was something that surprised everybody. Everybody was shocked. I was telling way worse stuff myself in the mirror, and I took it in, and they were honest. They were honest. That's the truth. And now it's up to me how can I get back and get better at it.
Si pudieras hablar con toda la afición, ¿qué les dirías ahorita? ¿Qué es lo que quisieran que escucharan ellos de Fernando Tatis?
Que de verdad que lo siento. Yo sé que eso no es suficiente. Que es un error que va a andar conmigo tachado por mucho tiempo. Pero que al final del día, o sea, ojalá yo pueda ganarme su perdón con el tiempo, con mis actos, caminando hacia adelante, hacia el futuro, y que ese amor genuino que ellos me han entregado, poder devolvérselo para atrás en una manera más bonita y de una manera que ellos se merecen.
Yeah, so the question was, what would you say to the fans out there? And Fernando's response was, truthfully, that I'm sorry. And that hopefully with time, I'll gain their forgiveness, regain their trust, and regain their affection. Obviously, this has been a terrible situation for myself, and we all make mistakes. Not that that's an excuse, but, over time, hopefully I can regain their affection.
Time for a few more questions. What about what would you say to fans who wonder now, that doubt whether you're still the kind of player you've showed before? In other words, the stuff you've done in the past might have been artificially enhanced.
I will tell the worst that everything that I've done in the past, I got nothing to do with it. But at the same time, I'm giving those reasons to think that way. But it's up to me now to start looking to the future. And like I mentioned before, start making those changes and give them a better act, a better show that I promise I'm going to do when I come back.
This is the first time you've done this.
How mentally strong are you to deal with what's ahead? Whether you've gone from the face of baseball, imagine losing endorsements, you go on Petco Park and your signage has been taken down. Just to get your reputation back, how mentally tough are you to handle this?
I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of cheering whenever we go to different stadiums, even. But it's a challenge. I'm looking forward to it. But at the same time, I'm going to demonstrate them that, I'm human, I make a mistake, but that when I come back, it's going to be even better.
Are you prepared for the fact that this could follow you the rest of your career?
Yes.
Fernando, when do you plan to have the surgery, and when do you think you will be back?
I feel like we haven't discussed right yet with the medical staff. There's a certain point, but it's gonna feel like it's gonna be ASAP, and I'm gonna be ready as soon as they let me out next year.
I'm gonna take one more question, okay?
Are you going to stay around the team until then, or out for the surgery? Are you going to be around the teammates and you guys here?
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be here.
Thank
All
you,
right,
everybody.
thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks.